So when the following year, my business made over $10,000, that's the moment that I realized that I needed better systems because my business was growing. And if it continued growing, I needed to make sure that my finances were organized.
Hey, teacher friend. Welcome to Online Business for Teachers, the podcast for educators who are tired of being tired and wondering if there's more out there. Are you up late Googling online jobs for teachers or how to make extra money from home? Do you dream about starting a business, working from home, or finally getting paid for the resources you've already created without adding more stress to your plate? I'm Monica Lopez, a former teacher who was burnt out, overwhelmed, and secretly searching for a way out. I wanted more time with my kids, the freedom to work from home, and a way to make money doing something I actually enjoyed. That's when I discovered the simplest path, creating and selling my own teacher resources, using the skills I already had. Now, I help teachers like you turn your ideas into income with step-by-step guidance, real talk about finding time to grow your business, and the mindset shifts that help you believe it's actually possible. So close those lesson plans and grab your favorite drink. It is your turn now.
When I first started my business, I made about $500, and that money just went straight into my personal checking account because I didn't know what else to do with it. Fast forward the next year, my business made over $10,000 in that year, and that's when I realized, okay, I need better systems for this money. So today I want to walk you through exactly how I manage my business finances. Now, to be clear, I focus on my business finances throughout the whole year, but at the beginning of the year, I tend to make a lot of changes and decisions about how I'm going to run things moving forward. I want to walk you through what I actually do to manage my business finances. Before I start, I want to say that I'm not an accountant and I'm not giving tax advice. I'm just sharing my experience so that you're a little more informed about how someone else is doing it. Because I remember at the very beginning of my business, I had no idea what to do and it was super overwhelming and I had to Google a lot and it was just a lot of information that I didn't know. So it's one of those cases where you don't know what you don't know until you're like in it and you're like, oh my gosh, now what do I do? Right? So let's go all the way back to the beginning. I remember the year that I made $500 and honestly, I was perfectly fine with that. At that time, the money from TPT was just being deposited straight into my personal checking account because I didn't really know what else to do. I knew that businesses were supposed to have LLCs and business bank accounts, but when you kind of make money accidentally, it's hard to actually plan for it. So that first year, I made about $500 and I reported it as a Schedule C on my tax return, and that was it. Now, another thing I need to note is that I am in Texas, so that might be different from other states. Just putting that out there because like I said, I'm not an accountant. I'm just walking you through how I do things. So hopefully you will be more informed as to how to do things in your own situation. All right. So when the following year, my business made over $10,000, that's the moment that I realized that I needed better systems because my business was growing. And if it continued growing, I needed to make sure that my finances were organized. So in December of that year, when I realized how much money my business had made, I went ahead and opened up an LLC. Now, that was on January the 2nd, right after New Year's Day when the bank opened. I went to the bank and I opened up my business checking account under my LLC. Now, why did I do that? Well, first of all, you want to keep your business finances separate from your personal finances. I've heard people say that you can just open up another regular checking account and run your business through that, and that's fine too. If that's what you're okay with, then go for it. My brain tends to follow rules, and I like things to be organized. So I went ahead and did the whole LLC and business bank account setup. The important thing is that your business money and your personal money are separate. In my case, my business is its own entity and I am my own entity. So one of the rules that I follow in my business is that I never use my personal account for any business transaction. If I buy clip art, fonts, course, software, my website platform, my email service provider, or even my TPT premium seller fee, it all comes out of my business checking account. Everything goes through that one account. That makes it a whole lot easier to keep track of your business, and it makes tax time a whole lot easier because everything is documented. Another thing that I did that year was talk to an accountant that specializes in TPT sellers. Her name is Emily Bryant, and I will link her information in the show notes. She has a bookkeeping spreadsheet that I absolutely love. So I immediately bought that spreadsheet and started logging all of my transactions into it. That spreadsheet basically replaces QuickBooks for me. QuickBooks is great, but when your business is still relatively small, you can absolutely log your own transactions. It doesn't take a full week to do it. It might take a couple hours each month, and then you're done, depending on the size of your business and how many transactions you are making in your checking account, in your PayPal, and all of that. Inside that spreadsheet, you enter your income and your expenses each month, and it calculates your deductions and your earnings, and it also estimates how much you need to pay in quarterly taxes. And that is one of my favorite parts about it, because I hate being surprised with a huge tax bill at the end of the year. I would much rather overpay a little bit every quarter than get to tax season and suddenly owe thousands of dollars. So what I do is I look at what the spreadsheet says I owe in taxes for the month. Let's say that I owe $100 for January. I'm just making up numbers here. Instead of pulling that money out as owner's pay, I move it into a business savings account. I have a business checking account and also a business savings account. And every month I move the estimated tax amount into the savings account. So when the end of the quarter comes and I need to pay taxes, I already have January, February, and March sitting there ready to go. All I have to do is transfer the money and pay it. Another thing about using that spreadsheet system is that it forces me to stay organized. I look at my business finances every single month. If you wait 5 or 6 months to log in your transactions, that becomes super overwhelming. So I just do it on a monthly basis and it's done. Now, let's talk about what I actually do with the money that comes into my business. All right, the first thing is business expenses. The second thing is taxes, which I've already described how I do. The business has a lot of subscriptions and software that I pay for. Some of them are monthly and some of them are yearly. So what I did this year is I sat down and I calculated all of my business expenses for the entire year. Then I divided that number by 12. So every month I make sure that I leave that amount of money in my business checking account, even if I don't need it that month. That way, when a big yearly subscription comes in, the money is already there. The third thing that I started doing this year is paying myself. I know a lot of people talk about the book Profit First, and I actually read it and I didn't really love the whole entire system for myself, but I did keep the idea of setting aside profit. So the way I think about it is this: your profit and your taxes go into your savings account. Your business checking account holds the money for your expenses. And after you've accounted for your taxes and your expenses, that's when you pay yourself your owner's pay. Owner's pay is basically your paycheck. And one thing that's important to understand is that owner's pay is not the same as profit. Profit is money that you might save or invest for the future. Owner's pay is the money that you use for your personal expenses. So if your business makes $1,000 a month, you're not just paying yourself a full $1,000. First, you account for your expenses, then for your taxes, and then you set aside some profit. And then whatever is left can become your owner's pay. So that's basically how I structure my business finances. Again, I will link Emily Bryant in the show notes because bookkeeping spreadsheet has been a lifesaver for me. If you're running a business, especially a TPT store, having a simple system like this can make a huge difference. The biggest things I recommend are separating your business and personal finances, tracking your transactions every month, setting aside money for your taxes, and making sure that you understand the difference between expenses, profit, and owner's pay. When you do that, you feel a lot more organized and a lot more confident about your business and your money. All right. I know this was a lot of information and it was super technical, but I hope that you were able to get some gold nuggets from it, because truly nobody else talks about how to manage your business finances. At least I don't know of anybody. So I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what to follow. So there it is. If this episode is helpful to you, I would love it if you shared it with another teacher who might be thinking about starting a business or who is in those early stages right now. Thank you so much for listening today, and I will see you next week.
Hey, teacher friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this show is helping you dream a little bigger, would you take 30 seconds to leave a quick review? It means the world to me, and it helps more teachers find their way to this podcast. I'll meet you back here next week. Take care and keep dreaming bigger.